Good days, stoners. It's time to bake up with your girl again. Boy, how time flies. 24 hours is not long enough, huh? But at least we have MJ in our life. So life can go on. You gotta get out of dreamland and go to cannabis land. Much better, right? Let's do that. Let's do cannabis land. And then we can go to regular world, but we get to stay in cannabis land. Today is not Friday. It's Saturday, June 10th. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I remember this show. 1985. I always hear some bad things about those guys that be on those shows with kids. I don't hear very nice things about them after their career is over. But let's read it anyway. A man boy. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Man boy. That's not attractive at all. With one of the most craziest houses ever invented, is on a mission to find his stolen bike. The bright colors, hilarious dialogue, and Pee-wee's or Paul Rubens' signature laugh is sure to be even that much funnier while you're wasted. Freak out alert. When Large Marge picks up Pee-wee in her big rig, you might have an adverse reaction when she is done telling her story. If it can happen when you're a kid, it can happen when you're stoned, I guess. Also, the movie might be very loosely based on The Bicycle Thief. I don't know nothing about that. However, even if this is somehow true, a huge difference is you'll become really depressed if you're high and watch The Bicycle Thief. In fact, you'll become depressed watching this movie if you're a stoner. If you're sober. Never heard of that shit before. Well, whatever. 4 months ago today, it said, ashtray. No, I can say that though. It said a DIY grow room can cost less than $1,000. Well, that's nice. While it's true, you can easily drop tens of thousands of dollars building a greenhouse to release your own pot. It's quite possible to construct a respectable grow room for a fraction of that price. If you keep the space small, around 4 feet by 4 feet, use soil instead of complicated hydroponics. Go with cheaper fluorescent lighting and cut a few corners here and there. You can start harvesting your own smokable buds in a matter of months for less than $1,000. So, would it be worth it? You need an accountant for that. It might be worth it. $1,000 after like 3 months. Say you spend $1,000 in 3 months on weed, and then that extra $1,000 And then whatever you need to maintain it, it won't be $1,000 again. So that's a good thing. It'll just be like cheaper than $1,000. That's for shizzle. Yeah. So then you can refill your weed as much as you need to. Just you gotta have the kind that you like every time too. You gotta have variety. Like at least, like, I don't know. You really gotta use that plant up to get the best out of it. And then every 3 months you're gonna want a new plant. A fresh batch at least. It could be your favorite shit, but it could be a fresh batch. Most people are go with a fresh batch. Hey, here's some good news. Colorado governor signs plant cap illegal grow enforcement funding bills. Now, what I assume that means is they're closing up the loose ends, like the black market. So if people are out there with weed illegally, it's going to be still room for the police to have fun. They'll have somebody to catch. Because right now, it's like this. There's legal weed on the market, and then there's illegal weed on the market. And if they're just chasing the illegal weed, the illegal weed, it's probably going to be a lot harder for them to have the fun that they want. Because most of the weed in the world is illegal now. I like to say it like that, even though it's not true. Most of it is not legal in the world. The whole world. It's just like, so if they make it all the way legal XYZ way, then when it's illegal, it's just going to be very obvious. Like with pills on the street, it's kind of obvious when somebody is carrying pills around and they are abusing them. It's obvious to the trained eye, put it like that. And you're not supposed to like have them. You can kind of tell. But it's like weed isn't a dangerous substance, so that's a good reason for it to be recreational. So that's not a reason to just be like harassed. Like people shouldn't have to have a medical card for it. It should still be considered medicine. Like you don't have to have a medical card for Tylenol. I always like to throw it under the bus. Use them as an example. You don't have to have a medical card for Tylenol, but if you get pulled over with Tylenol, you're not going to get a ticket or anything like that. So that's a plus. That's where I think it should end. It should be like that. If you're caught with marijuana with or without a medical card, it should not be a problem, even though it is medicine. It does need to be in a controlled environment, though. Mostly, I think. I think it should be in a controlled environment for the most part. Because, again, it is medicine. It's not like some reason people are scared of catching cancer. Yeah, it's weird. But I mean, I guess since it can happen, it don't seem like it happens often. But I'm not in the smoking community, the cigarette smoking community, so I don't really know what they're going through. What the side effects could be making people go through. I just hear the rumors on TV when I used to watch TV. And LA, they're trying to make some rules for Rec 2. They're putting them out there a little bit, trying to give us some kind of information as to where this is going. Didn't really give the details about what the rules were for recreational yet, but they are saying that it's coming very soon. Be on the lookout. This is all from ganjapreneur.com. Mm-hmm. Massachusetts dispensary offering cannabis-infused pizza. Now that's kind of different. That's like hot food. That's not pre-packaged food. I think you gotta have a different license for some shit like that. Let's read it. It's cute. THC University. Become a certified bud tender. That sounds hard. It sounds like they go through a lot with those people. A medical cannabis dispensary in Quincy, Massachusetts is now offering a cannabis-infused frozen pizza to their patients. Oh, it's frozen. Okay. Still kind of hot. They had to cook it first. Using flavorless liquid cannabinoids in the sauce and ingredients. Fox 6 Now reports, also from Entrepreneur. Said the YAF, Director of Operations for Armont, who previously spent 20 years in restaurant management, said that bar pie makes medicating less scary for some patients and less a reminder of what they're psychologically trying to distance themselves from. Bar pie. It's interesting. A lot of our top sellers right now are olive oil, honey, peanut butter. Things our patients can use to do their own cooking at home. Yale said in a report, we're working on a vegan mayonnaise right now that patients will be able to put on a sandwich. Like other medical cannabis products, the pizza is clearly labeled with dosages and packaged in ways that's tamper-proof and child-safe. The label indicates the pizza contains 128.98 milligrams of THC, 12.75 milligrams of CBD, and 3.14 milligrams of CBC, which we're not very familiar with here. We have to get with that. And there's no little blue highlight for CBC. So I can't just click on it and be like, oh, what's that? I gotta figure it out wrong. According to an Associated Press report, Armont charges $38 for the 6-inch pie. Not bad at all. That is so not bad at all. Deal. Yaf said the dispensary has sold about 200 in 3 weeks. The pizza is currently only available in cheese, but patients can choose to add their own toppings before tossing it in the oven. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, ah, ah. That's the shit. Facebook and Twitter, that it looked nasty. I'm starting to like, I'm changing on the inside. For real. It looks so nasty now. I mean, pizza used to look great to me. Now it's looking really like long. Just this one piece, maybe. Maybe because of the way they made it. Maybe I'm just changing on the inside. I think I'm turning into my natural self. The person I'm supposed to be. Because how can I hate on wheat pizza? How can you hate on wheat pizza? I spell ganjapreneur, right? Ganjapreneur. Nope, they spelled right. There we go. So yeah. Again, you can always make your own weed food. Just put some keef in that shit. And if you don't have keef, you can rinse your weed. If you don't know how to rinse it, go back to one of the oldest videos I got. Last year old. And I'll show you how to rinse your weed. Gajapreneur is on YouTube. Awesome YouTube, but it's like, I don't think they don't have a lot of stuff on there, but they're on there. Oregon, Colorado are neck and neck when it comes to sales. That's good. What else we got? Arizona Drug Rehab offering cannabis as opioid exit treatment. Sounds good. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Who'd have thought weed would save our world? Without him, we was lost. For real. Cannabis for beginners. Ooh, what's that about? Cannabis 101. Ganja law. This don't seem like Cannabis 101. This seems really fucking advanced. It starts talking about treating pediatric epilepsy. Like, that's extremely advanced. You gotta give a fuck about, you gotta really believe in weed to want to even think about treating epilepsy. What medical conditions qualify for a marijuana prescription? I guess we could talk about that. I mean, we've already talked about it. It's 1,000 billion of them. No, this is the long ass article. Do we have time for this? Alright, that's what we'll do. Alright, that'll work. Let's do it. It's kind of like, it's not all inclusive. That's what I'll say. This is not an all inclusive list. Like, it just can't be because it's too short. All inclusive lists, we don't have the time of day. Not even 24 hours. Medical marijuana remains a contentious subject for many, but the benefits of the plant can no longer be denied. 28 states have now legalized the medical marijuana for medical use, including most recently Arkansas, North Dakota, Montana, and Florida. Woo, yes, yes. Who all passed medical use amendments during the 2016 election, which is what I thought. Because seriously, man, it's kind of been peaceful in my life for a little bit. In the work world. It's been peaceful. It's trippy, but it's peaceful. Like, for real, I'm tripping out. Sometimes when I be sober, it's the only time I'm having a bad day. Unless somebody bring me down. And I have to really get high. I don't know where my other eyelid lighter at. I took it off. And I did some things with it. And now it's gone. Anyway. Most of these states won't see prescriptions being issued until well into 2017. This from January 1st, by the way. I mean January 27th. By Corey Keating. Alright, it's halfway through, so. It says, but the first major hurdle has been passed in more than half of the states in the country. 3 things you need to know. Anyone seeking a medical marijuana prescription for any of the qualifying conditions will need three things, regardless of what state you reside in. This is what entrepreneurs saying, man. Let's see. Number one, proof of residence. Patients will need to provide proof they live where they say they live. Number two, a qualifying condition. Conditions that qualify for the use of medical marijuana vary greatly from state to state. Check out NORML's site for that information, NORML.org. They have all that shit per state. I know. And I read a lot of it in one of my previous videos about your states. I can go over it again. I didn't go into too much detail because that list ended up being super stupid long. Number three, documentation from a doctor. Finally, patients will be required to receive a prescription from at least one medical professional, which isn't easy. Again, I talked about that, how to go find a doctor. Not in too much detail about how to find a doctor, but I gave you some kind of hints and ideas of how to get started, websites and stuff. But at the same time, I can go over it again because it's a new year, it's new information, new rules, new leases on life, new licenses, new doctors every day. So that could also mean new access for patients to get to it, the medicine. Because if you don't have a doctor that's going to prescribe it in your area, how the fuck are you going to get? Number three, if you don't know what the qualifying conditions are, and then that's just like really fucking you right there, number three. Because they have to approve the doctors to do it. And then you have to find the doctors. And the doctors, if they advertising for a weed, I don't know how that works out there, but here in Vegas, they advertise. Dr. Reefer advertises. So, some investigation on your part is going to be needed. Once you have all three of these things, you will be able to pick up a prescription in a state-run marijuana dispensary. Now that you know what you need, it's not that simple, trust me, please believe. It's not nowhere near that simple. It will take you some time. Still, with those three things on hand. Now that you know what you need, the question remains, what conditions qualify for a prescription of medical marijuana? Qualifying conditions. The biggest question for most people now is which medical conditions will actually qualify for a medical marijuana prescription. Qualifying conditions for medical marijuana. If you click on this blue link, I'm sure they're going to show you a longer list. Let's see. Takes you to Leafly with a list per state. Oh, this is so much better than making you go to normal and look for it there and dig through it there. It's right here on Leafly. I'm gonna see if I can put this up too. But let's finish this one article. That's nice. Okay, prescription depends greatly on the state which you just reside in. It does. But eventually, across the globe, I think all states are going to have the same conditions because it's like, it's medicine. You don't have Tylenol in one state and Advil in another state. You get Tylenol all the fuck over. Some places make you show your ID if you under 18 looking and shit, but that's different. That's personal. So, the most common conditions, meaning those that are considered qualifying in the majority of medical marijuana states, include cancer, glaucoma, HIV/AIDS, cachexia, I still think I might be saying that wrong, or wasting syndrome, often a side effect of HIV/AIDS and cancer, epilepsy/seizures, ALS/Lou Gehrig's disease, that's new to me, PSTD, and hepatitis C. However, this is just a small sample of the possible qualifying conditions depending on where you live in the U.S. Some states like Louisiana, Missouri, and Mississippi are currently restricting medical marijuana use to seizure patients. That's a plus. Others, such as Illinois, include a great variety of conditions such as fibromyalgia, lupus, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, and Parkinson's disease. Finally, some states like Massachusetts provide basic guidelines for the qualifying conditions, but also leave it up to the physician to determine if there is another debilitating condition that could benefit from the use of medical marijuana. So you just gotta lay it all out there and say, oh, like, this is all my issues. Whew. It's a lot. There are tools available online to help you determine your eligibility in blue words. If you click on it, let's see where it takes us. To another site, eligibility survey site. So it must be true. Medical marijuana application for Florida. That's where it took me, to a list of things that is included in Florida's Amendment 2. That's where it took me. DrMJ.com. Yeah. Where was I? Alright, and it says for medical marijuana prescription, depending on the state where you currently reside. The best way to determine if you qualify for medical marijuana use is to visit your state's individual website. As we mentioned before, the qualifying conditions do vary sometimes drastically from state to state, so it's important to verify your state-specific qualifications. Other things to know. What else do you need to know? Click on that. I don't know what I was going to say, but check it out. If we get time. If we don't, you can check that out. Before approaching your doctor about a medical marijuana prescription, if you do have a qualifying condition, there are still a few questions left to ask, including what type of medical marijuana is available, does your state permit the use of cannabis oil, edibles, smokable cannabis, or concentrates. All the more reasons to fuck with normal, because they tell you that in detail too. Even though they don't have a long, beautiful list like Leafly does with just the conditions, but they do have your state and a whole lot of detail about what's going on in your state. So you don't have to ask too many questions. You don't have to watch too many videos. Because it's a lot of shit. Let me see. It's so sticky. Like the weed. So it's important to know what is available in your state. Yes, indeed. Because sadly, you can like have one part of the plant and get persecuted for it. But if you had this part of the plant in that state, beside that other state that's legal, you would have been okay type shit. It's just fucking wacky. It doesn't make sense right now, but like any storm, it has to clear. And that means the smoke has to go somewhere else before it's completely gone. It's gonna be a little foggy. It's not gonna be overnight like we would expect. Like, oh, weed's legal, it's okay. Wow. Everybody can have it. All of it. No matter what. That would have been cool. Would that have been a disaster though? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. They would have just been like, all over the world, fucking weed, you can have it there. and then start filling out the rest. No? I don't know. I'll think about it. Where can medical marijuana be purchased, boy? That's another question. Medical marijuana will mostly be available in state licensed dispensaries, which will be located around the state. Oh, yes, jeez, that's so fucking fun, too. We've been through that. Go back, watch old videos. You can go through that. I'll go through that with you. Just like the qualifying conditions, dispensary locations will vary from state to state, so it's important to check with your state's medical marijuana office. Leafly, Weed Maps, WikiLeaf.com. So far are the three that I fuck with. There's more, but those are three I fuck with for different reasons. Did a video on it. Does your current doctor support the use of medical marijuana? The topic of marijuana is a hot button issue for a lot of people, and there are more than a few medical professionals who do not support the use of the substance, legalized or not. If your doctor doesn't support the use of medical marijuana, it may be time to switch to a provider that does offer the support that you need. Please believe. Does your state offer recreational marijuana as well? Ooh, you're in there. If so, a prescription for medical marijuana might exempt you from some of the taxes placed on the sales of marijuana for recreational use. Colorado is a prime example of this. While medical marijuana sales do fall under the 2.9% state sales tax, it is exempt from the state's 10% marijuana sales tax. More and more information will become available as states across the country pass legalization to legalize the medical use of marijuana in its many forms. The information we've gathered here for you is a good place to start. But if you got any questions we haven't addressed, the best thing you can do is contact the department in your state that handles the regulation and sale of marijuana to get state-specific answers. Or check out all of my videos. If you're lazy, if you're like on some super indica, you like at the couch log, you know, it's like I try to put this shit in order, but it ain't no order, but it is in order. Like at first there wasn't an order. But now there is an order, and I'm just bringing it to you as we get it, so that we at least got it, right? So, in order to organize this information for you all, I'm going to go sort this shit out a little bit more, the titles and stuff, and clean it up. And we can have like recap days. Like, shoot, I guess every 12 months. That's gonna be, we can have recap week at the end of the 12 months. When we hit a year, right before we hit a year, we're going to have to go back. We're going to have to recap everything we've learned. And then I'll put it in order. Make it like a special or something, however long it take. Maybe it's probably going to take a week to get through all this shit. A year's worth of information. The shit we've been through together. I'm going to have to go back and watch some of those videos to remember all of this shit. Because, woo. So I'm going to highlight the important pieces. And then I'm going to see what happened. It's a lot of information. Seriously. Yeah. It's been fun though. It's been fun. You know, it's fun as hell to me. Yeah, man. Well, I'm up. I'm officially up. I'm wired. I'm woke. I'm high. I'm feeling good. Hope you guys are feeling good. Um, Thanks for waking up with me. I'm finna get shit done. No, you got shit to do. So let's get to it. Let's do this shit. Let's get it done. Let's show the world that super stoners are here to save the economy. Okay? So make sure if you are in a legal state that you are doing your best at your job, making us look like we are supposed to look, very respectable. Okay? So when it's time for you to take your mask off and be like, I smoke hella weed every day, motherfucker, to your boss or whoever you might want to say that to prove the point that you're an awesome person, then do that. It's going to be a really cool ass day. It's going to be cathartic. Like, man, that's what that smell was all these years. Yes, it was my ganja sack. And you can keep your job because they're going to be like, hey, this person's super important to us. We need this charter. Let's prove some points. Let's get some shit done. That's what I mean. They kind of burnt. That's that Durban poison kiss. See you tomorrow, stoners.